Hey guys, Sweet here with a new CSR2 video. In today's video, we are going to talk about the latest event to come to CSR2, Wild West Speedway. Now, if you were around CSR2 about 4 months ago, you would remember an event called Track Dominion Sale. And if you were around during Black Friday the year before, you would remember the Black Friday Prime and Black Friday Spark events. And this is basically the same thing, being that it's mostly a pay-to-play event. And without further ado, let's get right into the lock-ins. Lock-in 1 is a free car from my experience. This car, the Ford Escort RS Cosworth Cosy V2, was given for free on Ken Block 4-3 Day either last year or the year before. I'm a bit fuzzy on that. But what I can tell you is that this is a free car and it should be free in the dealership right now. If you don't have it, you can go grab it. It's a solid life racer and it runs on Ford parts. 2 points that make this car quite solid for free-to-play players. Also, it doesn't need any stage 6s to excel, so that's a third point for it. And with that out of the way, let's talk about lock-ins 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which can be locked in any order. Starting with the cars I own, the Ford Mustang RTR Unicorn V1. Now this is a carbon copy of the Mustang RTR Unicorn V2, which is to say, this car can run about 6.7 seconds all max out. But that's not a very good life racer, and this applies to the V2 as well because they're exactly the same car. So when it comes to a going fast perspective, yes, this car will do you well, but from a long-term life race usability perspective, I wouldn't say the Unicorn V1 and V2 are very good. So as a result, I would skip out on this car. Moving on, we have the Dodge Charger Daytona Demon 1970. Now, this was a former Flash event car which made a return in the CSR2 VIP Invitational event, and currently it's also in the race pass if you were to purchase the premium race pass, or it could be purchasable in the shop for about $20 to $17. I'm not too sure if you were to buy individually. All things said, this car is quite a good life racer. You will need stage 6 transmission, stage 6 body, and a bit of engine and intake to really make this car shine. All things said, I would say this is an A-tier life racer because it gets a low PP, high EVO tune, it can beat dyno, it runs on Dodge parts which are very easy to come by. So all things said, I will say the Demon 1970 could be something you might want to consider if you're looking for life racers. And speaking of life racers, the 2022 Venom F5 by Hennessy. This is one of the best cars in the game for life racing. I understand the Venom F5 Revolution is in the race pass at the time of recording this, so you could take that and this and have 2 solid life racers. I will note the 2022 Venom F5 will lobby better than the Venom F5 Revolution in terms of PP to EVO ratio because this is a price car, whereas the Venom F5 Revolution was a showdown price. So price cars tend to have better PP to EVO ratios, and this car is no different. It's a very solid life racer. It doesn't need any stage 6s. All you need is stage 3 tires, stage 4 transmission, and it's good to go. You can do very well at that little level of upgrades. So as a result, I will highly recommend you pick up the 2022 Venom F5 if you don't have one already because it's a solid life racer. Moving on to the 2 cars that I don't own, the SCG003S Carbon Edition. Now, I have very little experience with SCG cars, but from my experience, SCG cars can beat dyno and they can attain minus 999 EVO tunes. But if you heard my previous arguments for SCG, I said that their cars don't lobby very well in live racing because they cannot get a low PP high EVO tune. They run on SCG parts which are very rare, and you will need bronze keys to open crates for these cars. And also, if you were to treat this car as a dyno beater with a minus 999 Evo tune. The SCGs just typically are good at that, but they won't make you any RP. So as a result, you can treat them as dyno beaters, but you won't be making RP. So you can use them for 200k bets, but personally, I don't recommend that, and I still stick to my ethos of recommending cars with low PP and high Evo. And that brings us to the final lock-in, the Purple Star Shelby Super Snake. If you watch my video on Supercharged Elite, you would have heard my arguments against the Super Snake. I didn't find it very fantastic, and it couldn't live race well, so as a result, I'm not going to recommend the Super Snake as a car you should buy and upgrade in the hopes of it being good in live racing. So all these are to be locked in to win the prize card, the Ford GT Mark IV, which again was the prize in Track Dominion sale and also the prize in a Ford performance event when it made its debut. All things said, is it worth it to invest all your resources for the Ford GT Mark IV? I will say no. The reason why is because the Ford GT Mark IV, first of all, it's a Purple Star car. So when you get a hold of it, you will need paid crates or universals from the paid race pass in order to fit universal stage 6s onto this car, which it will need to excel in live racing. Understandably, it is a Ford, and Ford is the most plentiful brand when it comes to parts in CSR2, but it's not that good of a live racer. If I had to rank it on my tier list, I would say it's a solid A tier, but there are better cars. And if you want my advice for this event, you should exclusively buy the 2022 Venom F5 and just use that for live racing. That car is going to perform way better than the Ford GT Mark IV. It's going to be a bit difficult to get Hennessy parts, but all you need is stage 3 tires, stage 4 transmission, the rest can be stock, and this car is basically good to go. So all things said, I don't think this event is very worth it, especially for a lot of free-to-play players, because a lot of cars will be paid, because the Mustang Unicorn was a paid car, the Demon was a paid car. I'm not sure about the 003S, but the Super Snake is also a paid car, so mostly this is a pay-to-play event. But then again, the only real plus that this event has is that the 2022 Venom F5 is up for grabs once again. So if you can afford this car, absolutely go for it. It can be a top tier live racer if you treat it right and shift it just right, because it's low PP, high Evo, it beats dyno, it's really easy to drive. What more can you want from a car? So with that said, that wraps up my thoughts on Wild West Speedway. To me, this is just a carbon copy of Track Dominion sale, just with different lock-ins, because the price card is the same at the end of the day. So all things said and done, I wouldn't recommend you do this event. The only thing I would recommend you to do is buy the Venom F5. And with that said, that wraps up my thoughts on Wild West Speedway. If this video was any help to you, do consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing to my channel, because all of these things really help me out. Plus, I'm really near 500 subscribers. With that all said and done, thank you so much for watching. Take very good care of yourselves, and I will see you in my next video.